My dear ladies and gentlemen, we last left you with Daphne and Sydney hatching a plot to fool the entire ton into thinking that they were a couple. Did it procure Daphne a proper proposal and shelter Simon from all of the scheming mamas? We are the Sisters Sanditon, and this evening we shall find out as we review episode 2 of Netflix's new hit, Bridgerton.
That's right, sister dear. Well, episode 2 opens with a scene from Simon's past, right? We see his birth, and his mother dies. A horrific birth.
Yes.
A horrific, painful death.
In childbirth.
After childbirth. And the father could care less.
Couldn't care less. He doesn't even look at her, he doesn't ask about her, doesn't care a jot for her. All he cares about is that he has a son and an heir.
And he goes out and
parades
him around.
Yes.
On the eve of his, as his wife's laying there dead.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. It was so absolutely horrific.
It was barbaric.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we get a glimpse right there of just who his father was.
And Lady Danbury, we see that she runs to her best friend's bedside.
That's right.
And sees that she, is slipping away, and she's just really sad. And you can just see the
looks,
contrast between she loves her, and then he's just like oblivious. He doesn't care.
Horrible.
It's awful. Yes. Now this episode was called Shock and Delight, so there are many shocking moments and many delightful moments.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And one of the delightful moments is when the Queen is just waiting with bated breath for the newest edition of Lady Whistledown to see what has been said, what gossip is in store for her.
Right.
And so we find out that Simon and Daphne's plan has worked. Lady Whistledown has dubbed them the new power couple, if you will. Right? Everybody's looking to them now.
Yes.
And so that's exciting.
They're on top of the world.
Yes. And so we see the next shot of Simon leaving I shan't call her a lady, a woman's bedside.
I don't care for that. I don't care for it at all.
I agree.
Now, we talked about this when we were reviewing Sanditon.
Yes.
Right? And we said how they said that Sydney had, it's been a while since you visited us
the
here at the brothel.
And I don't like it.
No.
Not one bit.
Insinuating that all of the leading men in all of these...
All of our heroes.
Yes.
That this is just what the gentlemen do.
That's just what they do. Well, maybe it was, but I don't like it.
I don't think they all did it.
I don't either. And we talked about that in one of our videos.
We said it's even like nowadays. Some men are like that and some men are not.
That's right.
So anyway, moving on.
Simon is a rake. At that point, people can change though.
Oh dear.
Doesn't the mother even say, rakes make the best husband before rakes make the best husband?
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes.
From the horse's mouth.
Yes. You're calling her a horse? Yeah, no. Anyway, so we move on. Simon is going to promenade.
Yes.
He says, I must go promenading. And promenading is the thing to do to be seen by the ton. They go and promenade. They walk along, probably Hyde Park or somewhere.
Yes.
And they walk to be seen. And this is what their plan is, to be seen.
Yes.
So Daphne and Simon are walking along, and it's so cute. They have a little moment with they are
some good moments.
Yes,
there.
She's negotiating how many balls he will attend to be with her. 8, no 4, 6. It's so cute. And they're just, going back and forth.
And they talk about flowers.
They talk about flowers. She says, and you must send flowers. Expensive ones. Today. It's so cute. And going, flowers and balls. And he's going, what is all this? He doesn't.
And she says, well, if you were really courting me,
you'd buy out every shop in London.
Right.
And then he says, well, if I was really courting you, I wouldn't need flowers. All I would need would be 5 minutes alone with you in a drawing room. Jaw drop. Oh, dear.
What was that supposed to mean?
I think we can... I don't know, and I think we can use our imagination.
Yes,
what would a young man do with a lady?
That's right. Well, if you've already watched the episodes, you might get a little glimpse of what happens later in the garden, right? So maybe that's what he was thinking.
Oh dear.
We've got feathers
flying
everywhere.
The feathers are flying today.
The feathers of Featherington.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of Featherington.
Well, speaking of the Featheringtons, yes, we go on to their house, right? And all of the girls are talking about Marina's predicament.
Yes. And her illness and this mysterious.
What is this mysterious? And the mother says, well, stay away, it's catching.
And they all say, oh, we don't want it. It's so funny. They have no idea about the birds and the bees. They don't even know what's going on. Is she ill? Is she pregnant?
They're clueless, right?
Yes.
And then Penn and Eloise are out in the street.
Taking a walk.
And they talk about it again, right?
Yes.
And Eloise first talks about how, she has
how ridiculous is it that everyone is falling all over Daphne, thinking she's the greatest thing since sliced bread because she caught a man. She didn't bake him. He just appeared. A great accomplishment would be to attend university, and we see that
she has
different
ideas.
Yes. She's a different
in fact, it's so funny because Penn says then, oh, I know someone who's with child and she's not even married.
And she goes, well, how can that be? I thought you had to be married, you know.
Oh, so did I.
She goes, well, you must find out what happened and how it happened to her so that we can make sure it doesn't happen to us. We have things to accomplish.
Which I thought was wonderful.
Yes, it's so funny. Eloise, I mean, she is so, she's so different. She's so modern. Talking about university, have we ever heard any of the ladies talk about anything other than embroidery and pianoforte?
That's right. And you know what she made me think of? Jo March.
I was going to say that. I thought the same thing.
Great minds think alike.
Yes.
Doesn't she just remind you of, I wish I was out?
Yes, and she said, if I were a man, I could go to university. Just like Jo, if I were a man, I could go and fight with father.
That's right. Instead of sitting here knitting like a pokey old woman.
Yes.
Right?
So it's the same parallel.
I thought the same exact thing.
Yes.
Actually, we have obviously let you know that we're dorks.
Yeah.
And we've seen every old movie that there is, right? Well, anyway, we're back at the Bridgertons.
Yes, back to the Bridgertons, and we see that Daphne now has a slew of gentlemen callers
Scores of young men.
Yes, coming to bring her posies, such as this one.
That's
Nosegays, and the whole house is full of flowers.
Yes.
As we see, just like a florist.
Tons of food, and the food always looks amazing.
In every scene that there
Whenever
is food,
I watch the show, I want to eat.
it just makes me drool. It's just beautiful and just a feast for the eyes and a feast for the belly. I wish I was there to be able to eat some of that. Yes. But so anyway, she's got all these callers, and who else should come to call but Anthony with good old Lord Burbrook once again, who has donned his fine satin knee breeches for the occasion. I'm sorry, Burbrook, but satin knee breeches are not going to help.
No.
They're not going to improve upon that, even if they were gilded in gold.
Yes.
I mean, nothing's going to help that old man. So anyway, he's come, and what are all these people doing? I thought it was just to be us. Anthony runs in and spoils everything again and shoos all the young men about. I think he wanted her to have callers.
Yes. I honestly feel like Anthony does not know what he wants. One day he's in love with Sienna, then he dumps her, then he wants her, then he dumps her. You know, and the same thing with the gentleman friends. You know,
you have no callers. You must get it. Well, now you have callers.
Now you got one. We don't want the others.
I don't get it.
He's a confused young man.
Yes. Well, he sends everyone out, including Burbrook. And he says, you shall marry Burbrook. She's like, well, I haven't had a proposal from him. You know, not a real one. I haven't proposed.
But the mother steps in.
Yes. And she says, don't worry. You shall have the Duke. And it will be taken care of. You know, don't worry. Burbrook will have to step aside when he sees the Duke's intentions toward you. You know.
But this is the part that didn't make sense to me.
Yes. It's a bit of a hole. If their whole plan was to have the Duke be interested in Daphne to bring suitors, why would the Duke's interest in Daphne cause
Burbrook away?
Yeah, I don't know.
Perhaps a hole, dear.
Yes, perhaps the viewers can weigh in. And what do you think? Does it make sense? Is there something that we're missing?
To you, let us know.
What are we missing?
Comment, please.
Yes.
Share with us.
I don't know. But anyway, the mama is saying, you know, don't worry, you know, the Duke's intentions. And she goes, what if the Duke's intentions are not serious? You know, I've got other callers. And she goes, dear, the Duke's intentions, I saw the way you've looked at each other. Yes. You know, I've seen it.
Knows.
Mama knows. And she says, there are no others. There is only the Duke. That line gave me chills. It was beautiful. And she knows, and she knows, you know, what's going on because she can see. And Daphne, of course, knows, well, this is all a ruse. What am I going to do? Because it's...
But I think also Daphne knows her own heart and is thinking, yes, I am falling for him.
She's in a predicament because she knows the agreement and the arrangement, but she is falling for him.
That's right. Well, Simon is duking it out.
The Duke. Duking.
With his friend, the boxer. And Anthony pays him a little visit and says, keep your paws off.
Keep away from my sister. And number 2, something. And number 3, perhaps we'll circle back to the fact that she's my sister.
Yes,
it's quite funny. Yes.
And at this time, we also get the first of many flashbacks that we shall see about Simon's past.
Yes, Anthony says family is everything.
Yes,
and then we see that Simon's family has not been
disowned
everything.
him, right?
Yes.
That he had a speech impediment when he was young, and the father didn't like that and said, you're dead to me.
Called him names and made him cry. It was really sad.
But Lady Danbury stepped up, became a mother figure to him, and she had some beautiful lines.
Yes, she said something like, you know, when I was a child, I was afraid of my own shadow. But so then I made myself the most terrifying creature in the room. Yes. And I, you know, sharpened my wit and I sharpened my wardrobe and I became, you know, someone that other people would be frightened of.
And you must promise me, she make her a promise, right?
That he will be worthy of the respect he will command.
Yes,
when he steps into the light. That was so beautiful.
Everything she said she did it so eloquently.
Yes,
just the way she speaks. And she's a wonderful actress.
Wonderful.
I love her. One of my favorite characters. But none of this impresses the father, and in fact, he doesn't even open any of the letters.
Right.
Simon
it's very, very sad.
Throughout the years.
Yes, and you see Simon going through all the letters that when he's returned home.
Yes.
He sees them all just unopened.
Just constant.
So sad.
constant
rejection.
Yes,
Utter rejection. You're not good enough. You'll never be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, the Queen has had no interesting news back at her palace, and she's
bored.
She's bored, and she says, "I must be entertained," even though she has a poor contortionist there in front of her in a bodysuit and stilettos, standing on her head, bent over backwards, and she's, "I want to be entertained." And the poor girl's like, "Here I am." Not good enough. No. Yes, she turns up her nose. It's quite funny. So she rings for some paper, and she's going to invite Lady Bridgerton to a private tea.
Yes.
We shall see what unfolds
That's
there
right.
later.
That's going to be very, very important.
But that's quite an honour.
Yes, it is. And that evening, there is a ball. Another
Another ball? Gee, they don't
tough life, huh? I mean, my goodness.
Promenade and ball.
Yeah.
During the day,
I wish I was born back then.
And
the upper classes.
Yes, the upper class.
That's the life I was born for.
Yes.
But anyway, her and Simon.
Do we talk about her gown?
Oh yes. No.
Her gown first.
That gown.
When she is getting ready,
It's a blush
it's
color.
a blush color. It's just encrusted with jewels, and she's got this big, giant jeweled hairpiece at the back of her
crown.
Oh,
kind of like yours, dear.
Yes.
And she's just looking gorgeous, and they actually get to have
she looks
wonderful moments. We see the relationship building here,
and they start to joke about, well, you're going to be glued by my side, and he's like, I might fall up. Well, you better not be.
That's right.
Just cute little flirty things.
And then they're dancing.
And they're dancing together.
And
when they dance,
uplifting music, right?
Da, 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 da,
so beautiful.
It's so cute.
You know what it reminded me of? A little bit of Sydney and Charlotte, right?
Yes, when they're
in their dance and it breaks into that kind of jaunty part, and they're smiling and laughing and having fun.
Yes,
that's what this.
And they
like.
are, and Daphne says, "Well, we must try to look like we're having fun." And he goes, "That's going to be hard."
And the two mamas are standing, watching.
And some of the other people are watching them. Yeah. Yes, I mean they are. They're the it couple.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
It was just,
and they're laughing. I mean, they're really laughing as they're dancing.
They're having a wonderful time.
Yes.
But obviously Berbrook is mad. Right?
Yes. And he's been spurned.
Yes.
And he's waiting to know what is going on with my proposal. Are we getting married?
Right.
I'm expecting to get married.
Well, so Simon
overhears
and tells Anthony basically what he did.
Where do you think he got that purple eye?
That's right.
And
Anthony is shocked, and so he says, "You're out of here." To Berbrook.
Yes,
get
sends
out.
him packing.
And so we think, that's the end of him.
But Daphne's not happy. She comes and says, "What have you done? You are misjudging his sense of entitlement.
He's not going to go away that easy."
No, exactly. He's not going to give up. And so, she's upset also that she said, I can stand up for myself.
She's a strong
I don't
woman.
need you speaking for me.
Right, yes.
I had it under control, whatever.
That's right.
Well, so she's not too happy.
But Lady Whistledown, she weighs in now, right?
Well, on his way home, first, Simon gets accosted by the old coot. He's got some gumption, doesn't he?
Follows him down the dark alley.
That old man thinks he's going to do it out. I don't know what to do. I don't know. So he says, why are you trying to take her away from me? I needed her, and you could have had, why haven't you proposed if you wanted so badly?
Why haven't you proposed?
Well,
maybe if she damaged goods.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what he
thinks.
thinks.
Which is a huge affront to her
like
character.
You say, even we're thinking, why hasn't he?
We were even thinking, well, yes, why hasn't he proposed? What's the matter? Why isn't he married? Anyway.
But he starts to slight her character.
Yes, and he stands up for her. How dare you? You take it back and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's all I wanted to hear."
So then he takes a jab at Simon himself and Simon's
his father,
family.
and so Simon goes to town, starts beating him up, and he's all bloody and battered and split lip, and finally a time when the punches actually do something. Yes, yes, yes. So he runs off with his tail between his legs, and he's done. Hopefully,
that's right.
We think that's the end.
Yes, but Lady Whistledown now weighs in on the bizarre behavior, right, of Daphne, that she seems to be entertaining. Why is she? Make a choice.
Why isn't the Duke proposing? Is there some sort of scandal here that we don't know about that I shall, I'm going
to uncover? It needs to be uncovered.
Yes.
Right.
Why is she still entertaining that old fool? And people are talking, Berbrook's her style,
Yes.
So and she's like, we've got to continue.
She goes to Simon and says, we need to continue this ruse.
Have to continue the ruse.
I need to find a husband.
I'm still in deep water with Lady Whistledown. My reputation's not been saved.
Fun little comment there, right? And says that if he were to take a wife, she'd be
the least objectionable
choice.
Yes. They do have some cute banter.
Yes. Also, once again, reminding me of a little bit of that banter between Sydney and Charlotte.
Yes.
To me, it was reminiscent of that.
Yes.
But
it's nice to see their relationship as they are so comfortable and they're joking, and even in the midst of turmoil and what's, we've got to keep this up, they're still having fun.
Yeah. And Berbrook then arrives all battered, the next day.
He arrives at the picnic or wherever they are out there.
Outside and
he's all disgusting looking. Oh dear, what's going on? He rides up and he goes,
I've got a special license.
I've got this special. How could he obtain a special license to be married in 3 days?
Another
No one else
hole
can.
for me, dear.
The whole rest of
The
the movie.
whole rest of the movie they talk about how it's so hard to procure the special license, but he's got it.
I don't know how.
The other two had, well, I don't want to give it
Later on.
I don't want to give episodes
Yes.
away, but we'll
It's
talk
not
about it
easy
later.
to
It's
procure a
not
special license, and somehow that old man did.
Right.
Anyway,
He must have known someone on the inside. I don't know.
Oh dear. So anyway, he basically is blackmailing them and saying, Daphne has to marry me.
Because she was seen with me on the dock.
Because I will tell Lady Whistledown, and it will be gospel,
And she'll be ruined.
you'll be ruined, and your
That's
whole
right.
family will be ruined.
Yep.
And so Daphne...
The mother tries to comfort her, though, right? And says, well...
Yeah, well, Daphne says, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, Antony's like, I'll duel him. No, you can't do that. She's
I
like,
gotta marry him.
I have to marry him,
And
he's
the mother
gonna
says,
ruin us.
well, you can make the
She
best of
comes,
it.
you know, you
have
can
children
throw
and-
yourself into your children and raise
And
your
that's-
family.
You know all those old movies where they say you can learn to love someone. It's kind of like that.
She ain't never gonna learn to love him, let's be honest.
I don't know about that.
But she will learn to love her children. That's just
Yes.
You'll have your children, that's really what you
Yes.
want.
And they share that special moment, though, and Daphne says, but, you know, I wanted what you and Father had.
So anyway,
That's
Queen.
sad.
So anyway, Lady Lady
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton. There's so many. I'm losing my tiara. There's so many bees in this. Yes, she goes off to her luncheon with the Queen, the special tea.
Yes.
And she's a little bit depressed because she's like, what am I gonna do? You know, now she's gonna marry this old man. You know, can't. You know.
But while she's at the tea, she gets the idea because the Queen says, oh, don't say anything in front of my man. He's got a big mouth on him and he'll go and wag his, you know.
Yes. The servants know all.
Yes.
Well, and also she wanted to have her there to tea to tell her basically like, I'm bored. You need to make sure this thing happens with the Duke
Daphne
and your
and
daughter,
Simon,
and it will help you all. You know, she's bored. Nothing amuses her. Not even, you know, the contortionist. Not good old Mozart sitting over there playing a sonata. That doesn't do it for her. I don't know.
Yes,
She's bored out of her mind. So anyway,
we are not amused.
Yes. So she's telling him, get them together, and so the poor mother's saying, well, how am I going to do this? And like you said, she realizes the servants tell all.
That's right.
Perhaps I can spin this to my favor and get the servants to tell something about Burbrook. And so she invites the old mother to tea, who is a hilarious old woman.
Oh, she is.
Why have more than one child when your first is perfection? Goes, let me set my eye on you. Well, he's not chosen a beauty, he's chosen brains.
Oh, God, I love the woman.
I mean, it was hilarious. As she's crunching on her crumpet or something.
And the food, once again, looked amazing.
The food looked delicious, yes. So anyway, they've discovered...
While they're having tea, the servants are talking, which
downstairs,
is what they wanted, and you see this wonderful... The chain reaction, right, of one servant telling another servant as the rumor starts to spread like wildfire.
It's wonderful.
Loved it.
And Lady Whistledown has caught on, and she has published it in her publication.
Just as they had hoped. That he's had an illegitimate child and he hasn't
with one of his maids
in the country.
Sent away. Yes.
He's a scoundrel and a half.
Yes. So he's banished. The club has done. He's done.
Goodbye. We're done with Burbrook.
Thank goodness.
Thank the Lord.
Yes. So he's done.
And well, we can move on to another ball. Which is all that matters anyway, right, my dear?
Yes. Well, before the ball, don't forget, once that the Burbrook problem has been resolved, Lady Bridgerton goes to Antony and yet again puts him in his place and said, something else that you're failing, I have taken care of the scandal, which you could not do. You know, he's like, I take it that was you. She's like, yes. And, you know, so. She's quite a force to be reckoned with. She's proving that she doesn't need a man to run the household. That's right. That she is capable, and Antony is still...
Oh, right, let me get back to my ball. That's what I like. So we're at another lovely ball.
Another ball, the 50th one.
And he's wearing a striking... Simon's wearing
a red velvet coat. Doesn't he look scrumptious in that?
Yummy. Oh, dear. Well, they come in arm in arm, right?
Yes.
And Daphne says that this is more than a ruse.
Yes. This is her life. This is a life, my life. And she said that this is not just a joke. This is important to me. Right. And you know, he's like, well, that's fine. You know.
And doesn't he tell?
And she goes, doesn't she say something like, are you in or whatever? Like, are you in? And he goes, yes, we'll do it. You know.
And he says, you must call me Simon.
Yes. And that is wonderfully romantic. Yes. And and so he calls her Daphne. She calls him Simon, which is very intimate.
Yes, and they're growing closer, aren't they?
Yes,
more at ease.
Yes,
familiar. They're closer.
And as they start to dance, they get closer and closer, and it's very romantic. Yes. And they just get so close that they are so close. I mean, they're about to kiss. Yes. I think they would have kissed, and Daphne all of a sudden realizes, I've got to pull back.
And doesn't he put that hand up?
I think he does. Put his hand on her back again.
A man should be a hand model.
Oh dear, everything is gorgeous on him. Yes.
Yes, and so they're having this wonderful
They're
moment.
having a moment.
She has to pull back.
She has to pull back
realizes
because she's...
This is pretend.
Yes,
Right?
and she goes, I need to find a husband. I'm here to find a husband,
Yes.
have a family, and have children.
That's right.
And he goes, well, let's find you a husband.
Yes.
And again, I'm thinking, why on earth can't it be him?
Right.
Why don't you want to be the husband? Obviously,
Exactly.
you feel
We're all
something for
thinking
her.
that.
Yes.
And so what do they do?
And we find the final flashback
That's right.
of the episode flashes back to
Father's
once Simon
deathbed.
is grown, he's come to bid farewell to his father on his deathbed, and the father has the nerve to be like,
I'm
you've
proud
finally
of
come
you."
home, yeah, to take your rightful place. And Simon says, you better listen careful to me, old man. I will never marry, I shall never sire an heir, and the Hastings line will die with me. Ouch.
But the old man deserved it, didn't he? Wouldn't you like,
Yes.
bravo?
Yes.
At that point, I was like, give it to him.
Yes, and he's choking and he dies.
Yes.
And Simon's like, kind of flings
And
his
it
hand
sinks
back.
into us why, oh
Yes, and it sinks in. And Simon knew that would be the most cutting word. Those would
That
be
he could
those
give
would
that
hurt
old-
him the most.
That's right.
But what he didn't realize was that it may hurt Simon more.
That's right.
And we shall see what calamity arises from that later.
In the coming weeks.
In the
That's
coming
right.
weeks.
Will Simon remain true to his word?
We shall see how it plays out.
Tune in next time to find out. We hope you've all enjoyed this. We would love for you to comment below, like,
subscribe,
tweet,
follow us on Facebook.
share.
Yes.
all of that, and we'll see you all very soon.
Ta-ta for now.
Bye.
Dear gentle viewer, I have made a grievous error. My dear sister called me late last night in shock and horror as she realized we had forgotten to discuss a most important moment from episode 2. We had talked about it previously, and then during filming we forgot to put it in. Did you all notice at the last ball of the episode when Simon is watching Daphne as she dances with another man, and Lady Danbury comes up to him and says, the two of you certainly make a captivating match, Your Grace. Whatever is bothering you? And Simon stutters as he replies, nothing at all, Lady Danbury. It was such a great moment because you realize that Simon is developing feelings for Daphne and he is experiencing the nerves of love. We know that he has dealt with stutters in the past, and so I think that putting that little moment in just showed that Simon is nervous and flustered about Daphne. What did all of you viewers think? Did you notice it? Wasn't it adorable? Yet another reason to be enamoured by our dear Duke. Shoot, I've waited too long. You look like a little princess. When shall we have tea, Mamma? Must I go to the nursery? Maybe the tiara's too much, you think? Nah, it's Bridgerton. That's right. Over the top. Leave it. As I accidentally called a diamond at one point. I said Daphne and Simon.
Diamond!
What do they do? Benifer and what are they called? Oh gosh.
What do they call Sidlet?
Sidlet, yes!
It's like
Diamond.
Diamond.
Daphne and Simon.
Daphne and Simon.
Diamond.
And she is a diamond.
Oh, perfect! Diamond, that's what we should call them. I'm a genius.
Yes.
I should be Lady Whistledown.
So modest too.